Jeffrey, we've been talking about the glorious moments of NDEs, but what about the dark, hellish NDEs? Does that happen?
Yeah, hellish near-death experiences are rare. It's about 2% of the time. I've worked hard on studying that, and it's one of the things that I don't understand as well as I do other aspects of near-death experience we're talking about. But I will tell you, George, some of the scariest things I've encountered in my life are not reading fiction books or horror stories or going to horror films. Some of the scariest things I've read in my life are these hellish accounts of near-death experiences.
Wow.
They are, in every sense of the word, hellish. I mean, the sights, the sounds, the terror, what they feel, it is literally off the scale horrible. And yet, there's a silver lining if you deeply understand these hellish near-death experiences. So in my research of literally dozens of these, I've come to understand that when people have a hellish near-death experience, importantly, it doesn't mean that they or anybody else is fated to have a permanent involuntary hell. Over and over, we see these people that have a hellish near-death experience can literally, when they're in that environment, they ask, shout out, God, Jesus, get me out of here. And they are liberated from that boom right away. Other near-death experiencers that have a hellish experience like that come back and they're very upfront when they share it and say, I needed a spiritual kick in the pants. I had issues in my life of that anger, that resentments, that dark side of my soul, and I needed to literally confront it, and there was no other way for me to confront that dark part within me other than to actually see it like that. These people can go on and manifest very positive changes in their life and be loving souls. So I think, and I think another sort of getting into it from a philosophical angle, the fact that there is these first of all, a couple things about hellish realms in near-death experiences. It's not like they're integrated and a part of the afterlife. Over and over, when people are aware of hellish realms in the afterlife, they're segregated, separated from essentially everything else in heaven. So when people say there can't possibly be hell in heaven, they're correct, because these hellish realms are very segregated and separate.
Right.
As best I can tell, these are souls in the afterlife that make probably a whole series of very bad decisions, anger, resentments, evil towards other spiritual beings.
Or what were they like in their human form?
It's hard to say. Even in when we see even the several dozen hellish near-death experiences, they don't really say, oh, this was Hitler, this was some named person on earth. These are just demonic beings in that segregated, separate realm in the afterlife. But I think getting philosophically, as best I can tell, these are souls that made undoubtedly a whole series of bad decisions, ultimately, step by step, leading to them being dark and evil souls, even in a realm where everybody around them is loving, connected, in an area of unearthly beauty off the scale. So my best idea about how these hellish realm beings get into this hellish realm is that they ultimately, as part of their malevolence, even in the afterlife, have chosen to be a part around other people, other souls that are like them in that realm of hell in the afterlife, which is an indication that even in the afterlife, we have enough free will, the ability to express free will, that we have the right to make even very bad decisions and ultimately end up in that hellish realm. I don't think they're there permanently. I think they can leave if they ultimately they choose to leave. But again, paradoxically, I think these demonic beings in the afterlife, in that hellish realm, paradoxically, that's like their heaven, because they're with people around them. They're people that share their beliefs. They don't have to be known for the malevolent being they are. In the afterlife, as a soul, you're known for who you are immediately and everything you are. So you can imagine how awkward that would be for some soul that carried that dark malevolence into the afterlife to be immediately known by all other souls they encounter.